Hey guys, I'm gonna show you how I put together this post-apocalyptic sci-fi personal project called 2100. For this project, I use assets from Fab, Unreal Engine's assets library. It's a great resource for independent artists like me, especially when you don't handle all the modeling or texturing yourself. And the idea started in a very loose way. I didn't have anything written down at first, just a general concept on mind. And I wanted to create a small post-apocalyptic refuge, almost like a hidden village placed behind the mountains. The mountains work not only as a natural wall, but also as a way to stay concealed. From the beginning, I had a clear direction for the color palette, blue as the dominant tone, supported by subtle orange accents and lighting. Because of that, defining the palette early on felt very straightforward. One that was clear, I moved into references. I used frame sets for pre-production and visual research, and found the aircraft on Sketchfab. From there, the project started to come together. Once inside Unreal, I imported a selection of assets that I knew could be useful for the project. I already had a clear master shot on mind, and everything was built around that shot. And I started building the environment while setting up the camera and its animation, always keeping the final framing on mind. That way I could avoid building unnecessary areas and keep the environment efficient. From there, it was a lot of back and forth, building, adjusting, refining, and repeating the process until it started to feel right. It's a long process, and it takes time to be happy with the result. In my case, it took around 3 days before I felt satisfied with the environment. Okay, so one of my favorite parts, lighting. Since I was aiming for a bluish mood, I started pushing the lighting in that direction, adding multiple light sources to shape the atmosphere. I spent some time adjusting the position of the moon, testing how it affected the shadows and the overall balance of the scene. I also replaced the sky using an HDRI, mainly to get the stars and add more depth to the environment. Once the environment and lighting were in place, I made a few subtle adjustments to the characters' animations. Nothing major, just small refinements. After that, I animated the cameras I had already blocked and made some final adjustments to the framing and overall setup. And finally, my favorite part, which is compositing. In case you don't know, guys, I'm a compositor, so that explains why. If you work with Unreal, you already know the first step is adjusting the camera and position paths. Unreal and Nuke use different coordinate systems, so those always need to be aligned. From there, I started doing some color correction, focusing on specific areas and objects for better control. And I also noticed the ship thrusters in the distance felt a bit too static, so I added some variation to make them feel more alive. Since the sequence includes rain, I began adding rain interaction first. Things like ripples on the ground, water sliding down the roof, and some interaction on the ship. In my case, I created those effects using expressions with noise patterns, but you can also do it with P-Noise, which is a better tool. And to add more depth to the shot, I introduced some volumetric light grays. They help it separate layers in the scene and also interact nicely with the rain. And I did a couple of rain renders in Unreal using Niagara, but after a few crashes, I decided to move forward to keep things stable. So I created the rainy nuke using noise patterns projected at different depths across the scene. I added some bouquet. And finally I added all the lens work, diffusion, light grab, chromatic aberration, lens distortion, and grain. Those imperfections are key to giving the shot a more photographic feel. And that's basically how I put this project together. I leave you with the final result. Hope you enjoy it and see you in the next one.
The journey is not based on increasing success, rather on increasing awareness. You are here to discover the deepest truth about yourself. All the things you think is wrong with you is just a doorway to the discovery of your strength. Where I was searching for the meaning, I found myself instead.